Hey y'all, it's Saturday. This is my third time trying to record this video, so I really hope that I will get something that I can actually upload this time. I'm home for Easter this weekend, and I didn't bring my laptop or any of my recording equipment with me, so I'm just shooting this on my cell phone, and I'm in my parents' town, or my hometown. So I'm just, outside by the beach, recording this. Might show you some of the glorious scenery that we've got here. Well, not so glorious because it's springtime and everything's melting, but the topic of the week is gender euphoria, and I really wanted to make a video about this, and I'm really happy that this is the topic week because I feel like this is a really important thing that we need to be talking about. I only heard this term for the first time a month ago, and when I heard it explained, it really changed my perspective about what gender identity should be defined by, or can be defined by. And so gender euphoria is basically the feeling of like positivity and validation and euphoria that you feel when your gender is validated, and when you feel like you are doing something, or like something is happening that is validating your gender identity, and you feel like mentally or physically or socially or whatever that you are in alignment with your gender identity, and it's the amazing feeling that you experience when that happens. And so I never thought about it that way, about gender being defined by euphoria. I always thought about gender being defined by dysphoria, and I think most people think of gender as being defined by dysphoria, where it's like it's so painful for you to live as your assigned gender or as either gender that you have to live as the gender that you identify as. And like in hindsight, like even though I thought about it this way for years, like in hindsight, like what a horrible and negative way to think about it. I mean, like obviously gender dysphoria is completely valid. I experience gender dysphoria. Plenty of people experience gender dysphoria. But to have your entire identity valid, like to have your entire identity based on what is too painful and what hurts you and things like that, like it just seems like such a negative way to look at it. And to think that like if you're assigned blank at birth, that you can't identify as anything else unless it's too painful for you to live as that. I mean, that's kind of transphobic when you think about it. And it's kind of sexist when you think about it, that if you're assigned something at birth, you can only not identify as it if it's absolutely too painful for you, regardless of what you would be happier as, and regardless of what, like, feels validating to you. So, yeah, I had a real perspective shift recently about that. And so I guess I should talk about, like, what feels like times that I experience gender euphoria. And I feel like I experience it more than most people do because I'm very privileged in that I'm out in most aspects of my life. Pretty much all aspects of my life except my extended family, who just, they just think of me as male. So I'm kind of out, but, not really. Yeah. Times when I experience that, sorry, there are like people walking by and it's making me uncomfortable. Like whenever I'm in an environment where I'm not being held to like rigid, I feel like the wall behind me is like echoing. Anytime when I'm not being held to like rigid gender standards, or I'm not in an environment where people are like, there are only two genders, and then I have to I don't like being female, so I have to like force myself to be male, and then it's like really stressful for me because I act too masculine to pass as female, but I act too feminine to really pass as male. But I've been on testosterone, so I pass as male like more easily. But then I just feel like I'm constantly watching myself and second-guessing myself. Like, I really hate being in an environment where I have to be either male or female. And so whenever that doesn't happen, like whenever I'm in an environment where they understand gender, and I'm free to just be whoever I am and not be held to any like standards of gender roles, I feel like I experience gender euphoria. And like most of my friends are trans or queer, So when I'm hanging out with my friends, like, that's how it is. Like, I don't make friends with anyone who is going to hold me to rigid gender standards, so I feel like I experience that a lot in my social life. And I'm out with my family, and they've just started getting on board with the whole non-binary thing recently, so I feel like my mom's been making a real effort to start calling me they pronouns, and I really appreciate that, because they had such a hard time just comprehending that I wasn't female, that they just thought of me as, like, male most of the time, and that it was really, really hard for them to understand. But I feel like they've been really coming around lately and making an effort to understand that I'm not male or female, and that feels really validating to me. When I went on testosterone, and after about a year on testosterone, like, I feel like I experienced gender euphoria, and I feel like I experience it a lot now to do with my appearance, just around, like, my face and the way my voice sounds, because, like, it didn't make a huge difference in my face, but somehow, like, I just feel like I don't look feminine in the face anymore, and I like the way my voice sounds, so I feel like my face and my voice really line up with my gender identity, and that makes me feel euphoric. I'm out to some people at school. I've been trying to, be out to people at school, but it's a bit more difficult because, surprisingly, even though I go to an art school, pretty much everyone there is cishet, so they have had a harder time understanding it. But there are a few people at school who try to call me they pronouns, and I really appreciate it when they do that, and I feel euphoric when I'm able to wear an outfit that is, like, simultaneously masculine and feminine, but I don't really pass either way. Like, I really actually like wearing, like, skirts and dresses and makeup and stuff like that, like, in conjunction with, like, my normal, like, male or, like, masculine wardrobe. So, like, I'll wear, like, a male shirt and, like, a skirt and, like, combat boots and, like, a sweater and, like, things like that. And, like, the ability to wear feminine clothes while not passing as female and, like, looking, like, completely indeterminate, or even, like, looking more masculine while still wearing, like, feminine clothes, like, that makes me feel, like, really euphoric. Like, that's a new experience that I've only had the privilege to experience this year, and so that's been a really amazing feeling. And at work, I had a recent experience because I'm actually out at my work because I just got this recent job doing charity fundraising, and the job description specifically said that they were queer and trans friendly, and so I was able to come out during my orientation and say that I was non-binary and, like, talk about the advocacy work that I was doing. And the guy that I was partnered with at the end of the session, like, they were calling me he pronouns, but at the end of the session he was like, was I calling you the right pronouns? Like, is there something you prefer? And I was able to say that, like, I prefer they pronouns, and he said that he would make an effort to call me that. And so I feel like it's going to be a safe environment at work for me to tell people that I'm non-binary and, tell them, like, what pronouns I prefer. And so that makes me feel really good because, oh my god, like, I thought my whole life that I would never be able to be out, like, at school and work and stuff like that, but, like, for the most part I am, and so that's a really amazing feeling, and I definitely feel euphoric that I have the privilege to be out in almost every aspect of my life. And in the future, I feel like when I get top surgery, I mean, I definitely have dysphoria about my chest, definitely. I don't feel comfortable wearing anything that accentuates my chest, or even just, doesn't conceal it, but I can't wear a binder because I have problems with my heart and my lungs, but I have a fairly small chest, so most of the time it's not really that much of an issue. And I definitely experience dysphoria about my chest, but when I think about getting top surgery, I feel like after I get top surgery, I'll have more euphoria around my chest than I had dysphoria the way it is now, But, I mean, maybe, like, afterwards, like, when I'm not experiencing the dysphoria all the time, maybe I'll, realize how bad it was, but I don't know. Right now, I experience more pleasure at the idea of having a flat chest than I experience, like, intense, discomfort at having a chest, although it is quite just bleh. But anyway, I'm running out of time and I really have to go, but I hope this video is coherent at all, and that's all I had to say, and I'll see you next week. Peace out.